Hello class, this week I have a very important question I'd like to ask you. What's more important to you, the process used to solve an issue or the end result? Now this is an important question. It's an ethical dilemma that challenges every criminal justice professional because you as a potential professional will have the ability to shape, restrain, and reform the lives of many in our society, both the lawful and the lawless. In this way, each police officer impacts or has the potential to impact the lives of many members in our nation. Whenever an ethical challenge is present, whether in your personal or professional life, how you process this dilemma will say a lot about who you are. With the weight of this responsibility in mind, it's important to define and understand the two basic ethical systems. We all use both to process everything from simple everyday challenges all the way to those rock and a hard spot situations that are potentially career-ending predicaments. We call these systems deontological and teleological points of view. Before continuing with the implications of these points of view, let me briefly review our past discussions of each to ethical decision-making in the criminal justice system. Now, the deontological ethical system is grounded in the belief that how and why you do something is more important than the results your behavior produces. In other words, if your actions are inherently good, then it doesn't matter what your outcome is. Your conduct is ethically sound. Likewise, if your actions are inherently bad, then it doesn't matter the outcome. Your conduct is ethically wrong. For example, while on patrol, you as a police officer come across a group of juveniles throwing snowballs at a passing car in the street. Pulling over, you confront the kids and explain to them the dangers of their actions. The juveniles, in turn, are apologetic and promise never to do it again. Remembering your youth, you decide to use your discretion and let them off with just a warning. A few minutes after you leave, however, this same group of juveniles continues to throw snowballs at passing cars, but this time one of the drivers is startled and veers off the road and runs into a group of young children building a snowman in their front yard. The question is, were you wrong to let the juveniles off with a warning? Using deontological ethical system, the answer would be no. Your actions would be vindicated because your motivations were just, regardless of the fact that the results of those actions produce negative consequences. This is referred to as process-oriented approach. The teleological ethical system, on the other hand, takes the opposite perspective. Under this belief system, the consequences of your behavior are the most important concern, not whether your actions were inherently positive or negative. If your actions were good but produced negative results, the teleological system would find your actions unethical. Likewise, if your actions were inappropriate or even illegal but produced positive results, this ideological perspective believes you acted in an ethical manner. In other words, it doesn't matter how you produce the results as long as you get the desired outcome. Now, going back to the same scenario given above where the juveniles were throwing snowballs at passing cars, the teleological viewpoint would find your behavior using your discretion to let them off with a warning unethical because even though you had good intentions, the end result was negative. This is an ends-oriented approach. Okay, so the question is, which is better? Each viewpoint has obvious advantages and disadvantages. Some argue that those using a deontological perspective lack a sense of individual accountability because for them, people are not responsible for the results of their behavior. In addition, they will highlight the subjective nature of what are and are not inherently good or bad uses of discretion or the proper methods of influencing others. For instance, does it really matter if your kids, or does it really matter if you give kids a juvenile record, as long as doing so possibly prevents them from hurting others? In response, those opposed to the teleological framework will highlight that we can't possibly direct what people do after they leave our control, but we can focus on making sure we do our jobs in a just and a fair manner. More importantly, they'll emphasize the negative effects of the do whatever it takes attitude. It seems like there is no simple or universal answer, especially concerning the variety of variables in the the criminal justice system. However, there is one extremely significant external factor that shuts down the teleological perspective. We call it noble cause corruption. I will continue this important discussion on noble cause corruption in the next video.